1, 2, 3. It's that simple. We're going to talk about getting a portrait lighting set up in an office space. Okay, so here I am today. I just finished up a corporate photo shoot. We have a little bit of time afterwards. I just want to take you on a quick walkthrough on how we kind of set up the lighting, my approach to it, and just show you how easy it is to get nice looking corporate headshots without a whole lot of equipment. I'm here today with my assistant, my first AC, Brandon, behind the camera. I've actually got my partner from Bed Productions, Ed James, helping me out, being my subject today. So we're gonna talk about it. And what I wanna do is talk about when you're setting up a lighting thing, the first thing you wanna do is build your base and go from there. As you can kind of see here, there's not a lot of involved here. I basically have really 3 lights, and then I have some reflectors. So let's go ahead and talk about what each of those lights are and what they do. And really, when you're starting a portrait, the first thing we'll do is you can kind of see I have some tape down there for Ed to stand against, and then I'll have you stand there. And when you're starting off, the first thing you want to do for any kind of portrait photography is you need to get your frame black. You can kind of see I'm in a room right now. If you look over there, there's giant windows, lots of ambient light. Well, I don't want to compete with that ambient light when I shoot. What I want to do is I want to have this be my light. I want to control that. And the good thing is, even if you're in a place like this that has tons of light, you can set your camera to control that. So the first thing you're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take a shot. Now what I've done, I've set my camera all the way down and take a shot. And it's completely black behind the picture. I did this by basically shooting a really small aperture. I'm shooting at f11. I dropped my ISO down to about 400 in this situation, and then you control your shutter speed accordingly. Now, your aperture when you're doing flash photography is the key, so that's what we want. So I start off with a nice black room, and then what I'm gonna do is I wanna build from there. And usually what I do is when I build, is I start off here with a key light. So if you look right here, I have an aperture red, just basic light dome 2, not much to it. And if you come around here, I just have a Gikoto strobe light that's mounted here. I have a Godox, basically 2 Bowens mount adapter that lets me put that on there and I can do it. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna cut this light on real quick. And if you look here, I've got a Godox trigger that can set it all off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it on. And Ed, I'm gonna have Ed stand right there. And we're gonna take a shot of him. I set up with that shot. And I've got just a nice soft light on him. Now if you look here at the light that I've done, if you come here, let's come here and bring the camera over here. If you look at Ed and the position of the light, I want you to notice a couple things. One, it's very, very important. Remember guys, the closer your light is, the softer the light is. The bigger and softer is, the more you get this wrap. So if you look here, I'll put this light slightly in front of Ed to the side, just above eye level to get a beautiful light in his eye. And if you notice, it wraps around and gets his cheek. Now, I've also done and put a reflector down here on the bottom. And what this does, this bounces a little bit light to kind of take away some of that nasty shadow underneath. But the shadow is still really hard. So what I want to do is just take this piece of white foam board right here. I'm going to bring it in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to fill Ed in a little bit better. So I'm going to bring Ed up here. And now if I take this picture of Ed, you can see 3, 2, 1. Now you can see how much more fill it gets in there. Now that might be a little too much for him. Maybe I want to make it a little more moody. Super easy. All I do, pull this back a little bit, chill it out. Come back in, I'll take another shot. And that's a pretty good component. Now, I want to keep on moving on. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a background light. So I'm going to cut on my flash down here, okay? And what I'm going to do is if you look at the background behind them, it's boring. I don't like that. So I want to add a little bit of texture. So what I'm going to do I'm going to use a light down there, which is just a standard speed light. And I'm going to use that speed light just to add a little bit of texture to our background. So I'm going to do the same shot again. 3, 2, 1, red. And now what you can see, that really opens up the picture and adds a ton to our image. We really start to add some separation. And now what I want to say is I'm looking at this. That right there is 2 lights, guys. 2 lights. And you can probably get away with that if you have 2 lights. Any speed light will work on doing this, but I want to add one more thing, and that is a kicker to help separate Ed a little better. Now, Ed, who is a master photographer in his own right, has a set of these pro photos, which are actually way better than what I own. So Ed, for a key light, we're actually using one of his pro photos to do that. So I'm going to cut this on. And this pro photo, and any flash will do this, but this pro photo is triggered by the light from the flash. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically use this as a hair light on him. And this thing is super powerful, but let's see what it does for a hair light. So I come back now, put this on, get the shot. And there you go. Now we have that separation of him. Perfect. And there you go. Simple corporate headshot. Now guys, the good thing about this, you can do this anywhere. I have a roll of paper we got from B&H, super easy to get. If you look over at the roll of paper, you can see it's literally just up on a C-stand with an A-clamp. We roll it down, we have paper, we're good to go. It's a cheap investment, it doesn't cost much, but so you can go and start experimenting with this on there. The big thing is just remember, control the light. You can be in a bright space like this and still control it. Just control your aperture and build your thing from the lights. Okay, hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any comments or questions down in the links below. And yeah, get out there, enjoy the day, and keep on shooting.